time of year again. E3, the Electronic Entertainment
Dreams that keep trying to...
Well, E3's wrapping up. And now the long wait for all of those brilliant games that we saw begins. But maybe you missed E3. Or maybe you just want to hear my thoughts on what I saw. You know, that's always a possibility. Probably not. But I'm going to tell you anyway, because this is my channel, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to waste all your time with what I saw on the show floor, because there's like 8 million things out there in those booths. I'm not going to spend that much time making these. So instead, I'm going to give you my report on the conferences that I saw this year. First up was Bethesda. But they've never really done a conference before or really anything like this in their entire career, so I was a bit worried. But then Nathan Fillion showed up!
So it's an honor for me to represent the amazing and talented...
And start off strong, Bethesda did. With Doom, a game they're not making, but one of their subsidiaries at Software is. It got bought, isn't that weird? But anyway, Doom looks fantastic. It is stunning. It is the most impressive looking game at the entire E3 Expo, and it's the first fucking thing that we see! And it's fast, and it's frenetic, and there's everything blowing up. Looks like classic, good, quick Doom gameplay until... I think I just saw an execution. You know what really helps fast, frenetic gameplay? Stopping the gameplay every 5 seconds for a context-sensitive action that I can't control! I have always hated executions and finishing moves in games, especially FPSs, because there's no point to it. I mean, sure, it looks cool, and Dead Space did it, I guess, but they were the first, and it made sense then. Now, it's like a speed bump in gameplay. There shouldn't be speed bumps in my gameplay. That's like putting chocolate in my peanut butter.
You got peanut butter on my chocolate.
Well, you got chocolate in my peanut butter.
Reese's peanut butter cup.
Oh. The point stands! On the bright side, there's an extreme variation of animations, and I'm not sure that I saw the same execution twice until... Oh hey! It's the chainsaw, my good buddy Chainsaw. You know, that weapon that lets you charge through tons of enemies without stopping at all. Oh, every single kill is an execution. I'm having fun. On the subject of the chainsaw, at least most of the weapons are really familiar. I mean, look at that plasma rifle. That is a sexy gun right there. But none of the enemies really look like they have in past games. I was actually really surprised by the variation on the enemies and how they've changed over the years, except, you know, the Revenant and the Mancubus, but you can't really do much with a skeleton and a fat man. Noticing over the course of this demo is, this game is really violent, and I know it's Doom, and it's id Software, but holy fucking shit! There's organs flying everywhere, there's bones sticking out of their bodies, and I don't have a problem with gore in games most of the time. I am a huge proponent of not censoring anything, but I feel like this is gore for gore's sake, and I feel like it has done it just to get this sort of reaction out of people, and I'm not sure that's a legitimate cause. The only other really bad thing that I noticed was that, for some reason, they highlighted every item that drops out of an enemy, and presumably this is so that you can easily see it and then pick it up. But then I also noticed that all the items gravitate towards you automatically, and you automatically pick them up. So what's the point? It just seems like they're cluttering the UI with needless strobe lights, and it's all going to turn into a rave at the end. Is that the twist ending? Is that it? Despite those few qualms, I was really impressed by Doom, and it's probably one of my toasts of E3. And then, they moved on to multiplayer. And I got the biggest hard-on of all human history. They've returned to classic arena-style multiplayer. Super fast deathmatch, railguns exploding all over the place, and holy fucking shit, you can play as a Revenant. Oh my god, you've got rockets on your shoulders and you're shooting at people and they're pudding bops. They also announced in a post-show interview that there will be 6 other demons to play as in multiplayer, and I don't know if that's going to be balanced, and I assume it is, it's id Software. Even Quake 3 was balanced, and look at all the messy, overpowered weapons in that. And then came the cool part. They announced Doom's Snap Map, which is the single greatest user-generated content platform that I have ever seen, ever. You can seamlessly take prefab rooms or just sculpt the rooms yourself, lock them together, and you've made your map. Throw in items, enemies, rules, you can change game logic without scripting anything. You can make your own Doom game in your own image. Or a penis. There's going to be lots of penises. As one final treat, they showed off a level in Hell. And Hell looks beautiful. You know, for Hell. But it was the most interesting environment that I've seen so far, and the architecture looks interesting, and I hope you spend longer time in Hell than you did in Doom 3, because that was kind of pitiful, actually. Oh, what's that? You get 15 minutes in Hell? Doom game. Next up to plate was Battlecry, a new game from a new studio that I've never heard of. And it basically looked like a Melee version of Team Fortress 2. And while Melee-centered combat in an FPS seems pretty cool, it just somehow didn't work with this game. It all looked very generic and uninspired. It looked like Happy Wars on steroids. It was all very clunky and laggy, and the animations didn't look right. And I guess they were going for a stylized anime feel, but I have the distinct impression they weren't, and it just turned out that way. The biggest question on my mind was, if you're going to advertise your game at the biggest conference of the year, why would you show that? Moving right along, we went into Dishonored 2, and it showed probably the greatest thing that I've ever loved ever, because isn't that great to show off your game? Oh look, it's a cutscene! It's a cutscene! On the bright side, the cutscene looked fantastic, and I love the world of Dishonored. It's really fantastic. I wish I'd spent more time with it. I just haven't for whatever reason. Oh look, I'm glad General Grievous got some work after Revenge of the Sith. They finished off by announcing Dishonored Definitive Edition, and I know I'm going to probably piss some people off by saying this, but I am okay with HD remakes of games. It's fine. For instance, here's my story. I never would have played God of War if not for the HD remakes on the PS3. When you're young and you don't have a job to pay for your own games, you have very few to choose from. You have to pick and choose that shit like it's the cup from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You have to find that holy grail of games and you have to carry it with you and love it. The Elder Scrolls Online! They showed off some updates coming for it. I guess it's more Elder Scrolls. That's it. Then some random people decided to tell me about the Elder Scrolls Legends, and I was curious as to what this was, and... card game. They're making a card game. It's a card game. It's a card game. It's a card game. It's a card game. They're making a card game.
Legends.
Oh my god, it's Todd Howard! Todd Howard's here! Ah! So tell me, Todd Howard, what are you going to sell me this year?
We were busy with the Skyrim game.
Maybe that's why it was a piece of shit. And wouldn't you know it, he does have something to show us. It's Fallout 4. And boy howdy, didn't they improve here. So first they showed us the attention to detail that they put in these games. This has always been a reason that I love Bethesda. And what does he show us to show us how much detail is put in the game? A button. And then it zooms out. And there's a button panel. And it keeps zooming out. And you see that it is a wall of computer banks that you will probably spend 5 or 6 seconds looking at in gameplay. And you know someone spent years of their life drawing that computer panel over and over and over again until it was damn perfect. And that is what you can expect from Fallout 4. To start the demo, we start, for the first time ever in the Fallout series, in the world before the apocalypse, with a normal family. And for once, character creation is actually incorporated into the game story itself, where in the morning, in the future obviously, they can step in front of a mirror and choose what they want to look like when they leave their house. And so you can just freeform sculpt your face. There are no more sliders. There's no more bullshit presets. You can literally take your nose and drag it out a foot if you want to have that. If you want to be Pinocchio, go ahead. You want to be a black man, you take that pasty white default character and you ratchet down that darkness. You want to be a lady? Just hit a button and it switches you over to the wife. You can be whatever you want. It even makes a dynamic baby from the couple that you make in the beginning. Now, the first thing you'll notice about this game is that your character speaks for the first time in the series. Now, this could be good, this could be bad. The first thing I noticed right off the bat was that your character makes a comment about everything you look at or interact with, and I can only take so many, hey look, a Nuka-Cola, hey look, a Nuka-Cola, hey look, a Nuka-Cola, so many times. The next thing you'll notice is the conversational freedom that you have in this game. The biggest thing that I don't like about the conversation system in this Fallout is that you have to interact with the face buttons on your controller. Those are the only speech options you are given, limiting you to 4 speech options in any given situation. Admittedly, Todd Howard has said that these are dynamic options that will change based on your character traits and your interactions with other characters, but this still leads me to believe that it's going to limit conversations. However, you can freely walk away from conversations now, or in the middle of talking to someone, whip out your gun and shoot them in the face. Your character also has a name this time around.
Josh, my character always has a name in Fallout. This is an RPG, for Christ's sakes.
But this time, the other characters know your name and will call you by your name out loud. Admittedly, if you put in a weird name like Ladasha, it's probably not going to know what you're talking about. But Todd Howard assures us that they've included 1,000 of the most common baby names that there are. So, I mean, chances are, if you have a pretty normal name, they're going to know what it is. At least you didn't name your kid Dovahkiin. Then the world blows up! Next, as is mandatory for any Fallout game, we next meet our trusty canine companion for this adventure. And they've introduced something new to the equation. No more command wheel. You just look at something, click a button, and whatever context-sensitive action is required by whatever you're looking at, your companion will do automatically. However, Fallout is known for probably the worst targeting system of all time. I have drank toilet water plenty of times when I'm actually trying to pick a grenade out of that toilet. I can only imagine the trouble this is going to get me in.
Hey, dog, go get that med kit.
Attack that mine!
Wait, what?
As we continue to explore the world, the game is absolutely beautiful. However, it's also still on the creation engine, which, here's my problem with that. At its heart, you know that a game is made of pixels. But a game's engine is supposed to make you forget that. It is supposed to be lovely enough or stylized enough to where you don't think that the pixels are there. With the creation engine, I know everything is made of pixels. I know. Everything looks jagged and wrong, and I have the distinct impression that if I touched it in real life, it would be really sticky and disgusting. I don't want to live in that game world. No. So then we come to the part of the show where Todd Howard tells us that he hates
Stupid gimmicks?
Yeah, that's what I would call a stupid gimmick right there. You can play games on your Pip-Boy and they serve no purpose whatsoever to the gameplay. Thanks, Bethesda, that's exactly what I needed. He then proceeds to show us the actual stupid gimmick he was talking about. They're including a physical, actual Pip-Boy with certain editions of the game. Now, admittedly, that's cool until you realize it's just a phone case. You wear your phone on your wrist and use a Pip-Boy app to simulate the experience of using a Pip-Boy. We then come to what is quite possibly the most incredible shock I have ever received in my life.
Back in 2007, we were making Fallout 3, and the iPhone came out, and we just fell in love with it. And we played games on it all the time.
What's that, Todd Howard? You love phone games? Boy, I've never heard of anything more like a
Stupid Gimmicks.
in my entire life. But okay, I'm willing to go out on a limb here and trust that you have something good to show me. What have you got on your phone? Oh. It's basically Vault Tycoon. I'm playing The Sims in Fallout. Yay! Fallout Shelter is a vault simulator where you try to keep your citizens happy and try to keep life running smoothly in this post-apocalyptic nightmare. There's not really much to it other than that, but I mean, if that's your cup of tea, that's fine. At least it's free, with microtransactions. We then return to Fallout 4, because apparently Todd Howard employs the sandwich technique of telling us a good thing, a bad thing, and then a good thing again. So when we return to Fallout 4, Todd Howard decides to show us yet another
Stupid Gimmicks.
Admittedly, this time there is a cool side to this.
Stupid Gimmicks.
Normally in a Fallout game, there are a bunch of useless items that serve no other purpose than to be blasted at people via a junk thrower. However, this time, all items in the game world can be broken down into resources, such as rubber, tape, steel, screws, stuff like that. And they can be crafted into other items, such as weapon attachments, or you can craft your own power armor. However, they also decided it would be a brilliant idea to make Fallout 4 into Minecraft. Admittedly, this would be a cool feature if it served any purpose in the game, but even Todd Howard says that you can get through the entire game without worrying about it one bit. It's just for the aesthetics, and admittedly, that's what a lot of Bethesda fans like. There was an entire expansion in Skyrim dedicated to building houses, and people seem to really like that idea. And they've just turned that concept on its head and then exploded it out into the game world. Sending Brahmin caravans to and from other settlements seems pretty cool, and if you could establish a network of trade empires, that would be really neat. But I'm not sure that that's actually a point in the game, and I think it's just to get supplies to your other settlements that they need. But then all my worries were swept away, and my faith was restored as they ended with a traditional musical Fallout trailer. I love the music, I love the humor, Bethesda is always on par with this sort of thing, and the action is fantastic, the world looks great, I want to explore it, and I can't wait to play Fallout... a fucking execution! All in all, despite any faults that it may have, I am looking forward to Fallout 4, because if nothing else, it's set in one of my favorite game universes of all time. Fallout. The only big question I have is they showed a vertibird in the trailer, and they seem to be skimming around this subject. Is the vertibird part of a fast travel system, or can you actually fly it? Is it on rails, or do you actually have some control? I would love to know this, and if any of you down in the comments know, please tell me. Bethesda then decided to send everyone off free toys, because that's not a
Just stupid gimmicks.
at all. But all in all, I'm very excited for the things that I saw at the Bethesda Conference. It's very technically impressive, and I look forward to playing these games. What are you looking forward to from the Bethesda Conference? What sort of thoughts do you have on all the things that I've said? I want to hear from you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Bite my head off if you want to. Bite my dick off if you want to. We'll see what you have to say, and I will be glad to respond to any of your concerns. I would love for you to point out things that I missed. I would love to see what you thought, so please contribute. There's a comment section right there. Listen to the video right now. Outro!
Like what you see? Well, why not throw out a like? Want to see more? Click that subscribe button to stay up to date. Got something to say? Well, there's a place for that too. Hate everything about us? Of course you do! It's the internet!
Alright, action.
It's been a long December, and there's reason to believe maybe this year will be better than the last.
I said action.
No, you didn't. You love this.
Action.
Kill that baby.